Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating paradox right at the heart of modern medicine. It turns out that as artificial intelligence gets more and more powerful in healthcare, the most human skills are becoming more critical than ever before.
It's the big question, isn't it? As AI gets unbelievably smart, helping with everything from diagnostics to predicting risks, you have to wonder, are we heading towards a future where machines just replace human doctors altogether? But maybe that's not quite the right question to be asking, because you see, the rise of technology isn't actually making doctors obsolete. What it is doing is shining a huge spotlight on the core of medicine that can't be automated, things like trust, empathy, and real ethical judgment.
Okay, let's get into it. AI is already here, and honestly, it's a huge deal. We're talking advanced systems that help doctors predict health risks, make sense of mountains of data, and basically reduce that crushing cognitive load so they can have more time to, be doctors. But here's the twist. That paradox I mentioned. If we're not careful, all this amazing AI could accidentally strip the humanity out of healthcare. The better the tech gets at crunching the numbers, the more desperate the need for doctors who excel at the stuff you just can't code. So, what do we really mean by the human touch? We often hear the term soft skills, but that label, it really doesn't do them justice. Let's be honest, these abilities are anything but soft. They're essential. So let's use a clearer definition. These skills aren't just nice-to-haves. They're absolutely fundamental. They're the social, the emotional, and the self-reflective abilities that form the very bedrock of what makes a doctor great. And researchers have basically boiled it all down to these 5 core areas. Now, here's the most important part. This isn't some kind of magic that people are just born with. The evidence is crystal clear. These are skills that can be taught, they can be measured, and they are absolutely vital for safe, high-quality healthcare. And we're not just talking about abstract ideas here. These skills have a real, tangible, and yes, measurable impact on the one thing that truly matters: helping patients get better. Just look at the night and day difference here. On the left, you've got a doctor basically acting as a mouthpiece for an algorithm. It's just cold data. But on the right, you have a doctor delivering care, taking that same data and turning it into a human conversation built on trust. That is the difference. And this isn't just about feelings. The numbers back this up big time. When doctors communicate well, patients are way more likely to actually follow their treatment plans. And effective teamwork, it's been shown to reduce medical errors and literally lower death rates. It's that serious. But it's a huge mistake to think of these skills as a simple checklist. They're not separate items. They actually form this deeply interconnected system. Think of it like an ecosystem, where everything supports everything else. So how does this ecosystem actually work? Well, just think about it for a second. How can you possibly have good teamwork without clear communication? Or how can you be a true professional without empathy? You can't. They all depend on each other. This chart shows it perfectly. Communication, empathy, teamwork, they aren't just pillars standing on their own. They're all woven together into this dynamic web. And you'll notice there's a new element being integrated right in the middle: AI literacy. That's the new reality. And when one part of this ecosystem breaks, the whole thing can start to unravel in a really dangerous way. Imagine this. A busy nurse tells a doctor a patient's results are a bit off. A tiny communication breakdown. The doctor's busy, they misread the urgency, and trust starts to fray. Pretty soon, the team isn't on the same page, blame gets thrown around, and suddenly, that's how a patient's safety gets put in serious jeopardy. So, knowing all this has massive implications for how we train our future doctors. It's not good enough anymore to just drill them on biology and anatomy. We have to intentionally build this entire ecosystem of skills. This means medical school itself is getting a serious upgrade. Sure, old school stuff like role-playing is still important, but now we can supercharge it with technology. Imagine AI-powered virtual patients that can simulate incredibly tough conversations, or VR simulations that literally let a doctor walk a mile in their patient's shoes. We're using tech to teach the very skills tech can't replace. And that really gets to the heart of it all. The future of medicine is not humans versus machines. It's about harmony. It's about a doctor who can use AI to analyze 1 billion data points and then turn to their patient and have a conversation grounded in deep human understanding. So the end goal here is pretty simple. We need to make sure that as our technology gets smarter, our care gets more human. We have to ensure that all this innovation serves the patient.
strengthening that bond of trust between a doctor and the person they're trying to heal.
And that leaves us with one last big thought to chew on. In a world that's going to be more and more driven by data and algorithms, what does the future of compassion look like? How do we teach, value, and practice the irreplaceable art of human connection in medicine? That is the challenge and the incredible opportunity that lies ahead.